Are you considering moving to Charlotte, but you're not quite sure where exactly to move? Well, today, guys, I'm going to bring you on a driving tour of the South Charlotte corridor, starting in Waverly and going all the way to Uptown. So you may be watching this from across the state, maybe across the U.S., or even across the globe. But after this video, you're going to know everything you need about the South Charlotte area. All right, guys, so here we are in my car, and we are starting in Waverly, which is one of the most highly sought after areas in South Charlotte. It's a fairly new development in the last, I'd say, 5 years. It has absolutely exploded down in Waverly. You'll find a lot of shopping. Of course, they have Lifetime Athletic, which is one of the largest gyms in the city, and a lot of other things. But as we drive up here, we're going to be crossing the 485 Beltway, which is actually the loop that goes all the way around Charlotte. So you'll see up here on the right, I gave you a shot of that, of 485. So if you do buy a house in South Charlotte, whether it be in Waverly, Waxhaw, Weddington, Wesley Chapel, that South Charlotte corridor, certainly Waverly and Providence Road will be one you'll be traveling on. Now, as we go through this tour, right, I'm going to be pointing out a lot of the neighborhoods, the statistics for you, so you can get a better idea of the neighborhoods as you approach Uptown and maybe where you want to live. So don't forget to grab a cup of coffee, enjoy. I'm going to do my best to educate you as well as I can so you have the best understanding of the South Charlotte corridor. Now, I will say that Providence Road is one of the busiest thoroughfares, if you will, in our entire city. It's one of the main arteries. I took this tour at 7 p.m. So if you look at the traffic, certainly this isn't at, the high rush hour traffic like you'd find in other major cities. And of course, Charlotte. But I did that on purpose so I could get you a better idea and a better view, of course, of the different areas. Now, the first neighborhood that I want to talk about is Raintree. Now, the Raintree area would be to our left-hand side. And Raintree is certainly a great place to look. If you maybe are young professionals, you got a young starting family, or maybe even retirees, that would be a great spot to look. Now, Raintree has 2 championship golf courses, so if you're a golfer, great place. But outside of that, there's a lot of green space, walking trails. It's just a lovely neighborhood, great sense of community, and it's got a fantastic location. I mean, anywhere these neighborhoods that I'm pointing out in South Charlotte are highly desirable. And people love to live, in these areas. Now, in terms of real estate statistics, for single-family homes in the last 365 days, for closed homes only now, average sale price was $626,000. Now, the top of market traded at $1.25 million in Raintree. So that'll give you a better idea of your budget, right? If you're looking in Raintree, I would say right around $630,000. You can get in, and of course, if you wanted to spend top of market, you'll be much higher. On the left-hand side here, I'm giving you a view of some of these fields. This is actually one of the top private schools in the area. It's called Latin. It's right there on the left, the entryway. That's a very prestigious private school that people send their kids to. And another neighborhood that I wanted to talk about today as we pull up is Providence Plantation, which is going to be on our right. Okay, it's further back. It's a huge community. Providence Plantation is known for its large wooded lots. There's a lot of privacy. It's an older neighborhood, right? So when it was established, of course, the lot sizes were much bigger, which is very common. And as the city, of course, filled in, that is rare now. But if you look in Providence Plantation, you're going to find a lot of green space, a lot of walking trails again. They also have a fantastic swim tennis club in there. So if you're into that, or if your kids are, this is a great place to look as well. And the homes in there, of course, are larger single-family home and executive estate style homes. And in terms of real estate statistics, for single-family homes in the last 365 days, the average sale price in there was $977,000, with the top of market being $1.95 million. So definitely a pricier locale to live in Providence Plantation, but for good reason, because as you go through those neighborhoods, you'll understand the size of those lots and what you get is great. Now, on our left-hand side here, we're going to be coming up to fantastic shopping center that's very common. You may hear it if you were to visit us. It's called the Arboretum. A lot of residents visit this. It's got, everything you can imagine in there for, Walmart. You got Home Depot or Lowe's is in there. I can't remember which one. You got gyms, food, eating, all kinds of other things going on in there. So it's a big, big shopping center that residents in this area, of course, would access. Now, as we come up and cross Pineville Matthews Road here, we are going to get into two other neighborhoods here, one of which is Montibello. Now, Montibello is definitely one of my favorites. It's got great landscape, tree-lined streets, big, large streets, and the lot sizes are nice. And it's just kind of a very serene, picturesque atmosphere. I will say Montibello has a lot of outdoor space where you can walk your dog, your children, take a bike ride. It is a nice neighborhood, and you don't feel as though you're in the city. You still feel like you're outside of the city, which is what I love about it. It is a fantastic choice for a lot of families as well, simply because it's in, again, another very highly rated school district in our city. I will say that homes in Montibello, of course, they are on the larger side. The architectural styles will vary. There will be a lot of traditional brick homes, colonials, and also you'll find some small ranch homes as well. Now, for the real estate stats, again, in the last 365 days for closed homes, single family only, average sale price in Montibello was $1.35 million, with the top of market being $2.4 million. And, Montibello, of course, is one of the, better, higher, neighborhoods in our area. We get a lot of requests from Montibello. It's just a fantastic place, as you can see here on the screen. Now, another neighborhood that we're going to be coming up to here in a second is Sardis Forest. Now, if you're searching for, more of an affordable, right, family-friendly neighborhood in the South Charlotte area, I always tell my clients, check out the Sardises, right, one of which would be Sardis Forest. It's got a great sense of community, and there's some great value in there. You're close to everything. You're close to established neighborhoods. You're close to shopping, South Park, and of course, you can get right up into Uptown. If you're looking in this area, I will tell you for the sale prices, again, in Sardis Forest, the average sale price for closed homes in the last 365 days was $525,000, with the top of market being $590. So if you're looking below 600, definitely check out the Sardis Forest area because it is in a great location, and you're not that far from all the city has to offer. So as we make our way up here down Providence Road, I just wanted to point out some other areas as well that you can get yourself familiar with. A lot of the neighborhoods that you're going to see on our right, and of course on our left, I zoomed in here with some of these townhomes. These neighborhoods are well established, and they've been here in Charlotte for a long time. Now, as our city continued to boom and we had more and more people move in, a lot of the developers, right, began building a lot of townhomes, a lot of duets, right, because of the increase in population, right, in demand for housing, which you'll see, along this route, you'll see a lot of new construction townhomes and some duets that are going in that developers are building because they're starting to be very popular as well. Now, if you're considering moving to Charlotte and you're like, well, hey, look, I need to travel into Uptown from one of these areas, definitely this road we're on is going to be one you will be traveling on. However, I will say that this road, like any major city, during high rush hour times, it gets very congested. So you're going to want to leave at the appropriate time so you're not stuck in traffic, because I've seen this get very backed up, which is something you want to be mindful of, especially if you're looking in this area. Make sure you drive the area at rush hour in the morning, at night, and make sure that if you're looking at a home and you're like, well, look, I got to travel to Bank of America in Uptown, that you're comfortable with the commute time that may be ahead of you. Or better yet, I know a lot of people, you just leave before it gets busy, right? You maybe go to the gym in the morning, get there early, leave at an odd time. That would be my suggestion, just so you don't get, surprised. I have people say that, but I wanted to mention that so you can come prepared in your search and looking at these areas. Now, also along this road here, we are going to be coming up to the intersection of Fairview. Now, as soon as you get into the Fairview Road intersection on Providence, if you were to take a left on Fairview, you're going to head towards South Park, which is a very well-known area. That's where you have the South Park Mall. There's a lot of high-end shopping, a lot of great restaurants, very central location. So as we move forward here up Providence Road, you're going to notice in these different neighborhoods I discussed, the sale prices are going to increase. So if you're looking at a map, I would say once you cross Fairview Road up Providence and getting towards that uptown corridor, a lot of those neighborhoods, especially the ones on the South Park side heading north, they're going to command a healthy price tag to live there, and rightfully so, because the locations are phenomenal. We get a lot of requests to live in these areas, so I just wanted to point that out so you're comfortable, of course, and whether you're looking at a map or maybe you're looking at this totally blind, just exploring Charlotte, you get an understanding of kind of where you want to gauge your search, whether your budget is, let's say, below $1 million, or if you're north of $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, you'll know the areas that that you need to look in. So right now we are going to be crossing Fairview Road, which is the one right here. Now on your right hand side, we have an area called Strawberry Hill. That's just another great neighborhood. You got some shopping here, newer development that went in not too long ago. But this is the Strawberry Hill neighborhood. Now, coming up on the left-hand side, of course, will be, you can't see this, but it's all the way to the left. It's going to be the Foxcroft neighborhood, and that's off Fairview. But it is on our left if you go way back. It's one of Charlotte's most prestigious and desirable communities, hands down. Foxcroft is known for its stunningly stately homes, large, beautiful landscape lots. These neighborhoods are just offer modern luxury and, basically a top choice for the most discerning luxury home buyers that we have. Foxcroft is always on the list. It's minutes from South Park. It's minutes from Uptown. You're close to everything. Now, in terms of the real estate statistics of Foxcroft, average sale price in the neighborhood is $2.64 million, with the top of market trading at $3.55 million. Now again, single family homes closed in the last 365 days. That's what that represents. So if you're looking in that area, that's what you'll find. Now, I just wanted to pull up an example here at 3621 Arbor Way, just to give you an idea of what type of product you're gonna find in Foxcroft. There's some tremendous homes, much like this one that you can see here on the screen. Now, another area that I wanted to point out, of course, is Providence Park. This is another fantastic neighborhood. Much like the luxury areas of Foxcroft, you're going to find some very high-end homes, bigger lots, more modern luxury, etc. And in that particular area, the average sale price of closed homes in the last 180 days here, 1.7 million. With the top of market trading at 3.5. So you can see that as we get up to, once you cross Fairview and you're coming up now, getting closer to Uptown, you can see these price points are starting to tick up because we're getting closer and closer to the city. Now, like any major city, right? You get close to New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Chicago, you name it, LA. It gets pricier and pricier as you move in towards the city locale, which makes sense. The real estate's more pricey, it gets better locations. So people are gonna obviously pay for that. Now, we have experienced a tremendous real estate boom like many areas of the country have. I would still say that our sale prices are still attractive compared to the higher end homes that you may find in some major cities like LA, New York, Boston, even Miami, right? It's still less expensive here, but it's definitely getting pricier. And as we come down now, heading closer to Uptown, we're going to be coming up here onto another favorite neighborhood of mine, which is Myers Park. But before we get there, I will tell you that you'll also notice on this tour, I try to give you the views of these homes on the side of the streets here, that some of the homes are being renovated, some of them are being completely dilapidated and knocking down and rebuilt, and some of them are brand new construction, right, from the ground up, because the lot sizes here, as you get closer to Uptown on Providence Road, are very deep and they're wide. So they do come in, very highly desired locations for people to build homes on, which is what you'll see is happening here. But as we come up to one of my favorite neighborhoods, which is Myers Park, this is without a question one of the most iconic in Charlotte. It's a true classic. One of the city's most prestigious addresses is Myers Park. Myers Park is renowned for its historical charm, beautiful tree-lined streets. It has some great, very historic, preserved homes, from stately Georgian-style mansions, right, to elegant, modern masterpieces. Myers Park really offers a blend of charm and contemporary luxury that you just can't beat. Now, the average sale price in Myers Park for single-family homes that have closed in the last 180 days was $1.8 million, with the top of market that had closed at $5.6 million, which, again, gorgeous homes here in Myers Park that you have access to within the area. Now, also, another neighborhood that is great as we approach Uptown here is the Cotswold area. Now, Cotswold is well-established neighborhood. It's got great, charming homes. It has a lot of classic mid-century designs, and also some beautifully renovated modern residences. I've sold many homes over there. One of the most luxury high-end home builders that I've been in personally is Pike Builders. They have a great presence in the Cotswold area. They do a great job on their builds. That's something to look into if you're considering Cotswold, is definitely Pike Builders, in my opinion. And then you'll find some great communities, in areas of Cotswold. And again, it's very close to Uptown if you need to commute. In terms of the real estate statistics for Cotswold, you're going to see that for closed homes in the last 180 days, the average sale price was $1.6 million, with the top of market coming in at $3.3 million. So again, pricier, right, as we get to those different higher end, price points and neighborhoods. So if you're looking for a luxury home, certainly this would be an area I would consider. I get this question often from people, and certainly that's something you'd want to consider. Right on our right-hand side here, as we're coming up, we're actually getting very close to what I would consider the medical district of our city. Charlotte does have a very large medical presence here with Atrium and Novant Health. It's a huge employer for our area. The healthcare sector certainly is one of the larger ones in Charlotte, and you'll see there's many people, of course, and that it employs in our city. So we would, behind banking, which of course, those of you who don't know, Charlotte is the second largest banking city in the United States behind New York City. We, of course, are home and headquartered for Bank of America. So there's, 20,000 plus employees that are employed there. But as we come up here on your right, you're gonna see these big brick buildings. This is actually the medical, I would say, campuses of Charlotte, both on our left and our right. So you got, of course, Atrium and Novant, and then you've got a lot of private practices and smaller, medical practices here as well. So this area is certainly, in the medical district of Charlotte. And once we cross out of here, that's where we're going to be approaching Uptown Charlotte. Now, I get questions often saying, Mitch, how come Uptown is called Uptown and it's not called Downtown? Well, that's a great question. When I first moved here, I asked myself the same question. How on earth would we be calling something Uptown? But here's the reason. back when Charlotte, of course, was founded way back in the, let's say, 1800s, 1900s. Uptown is actually elevated. So you'll see that when we pull up into Uptown, it's kind of up on a raised hill. So they named it Uptown because they had to take the carriages and the horses, et cetera, going up, right? So that's why it's called Uptown. Kind of weird, because when I tell my family or friends that are from different areas of the country, like, wait a minute, isn't that the downtown? Well, yeah, it is the downtown, but they call it Uptown, just so you guys know. So you can see in the distance here, you can start to see the buildings here in Uptown. You can see the Duke Energy building here and the Bank of America building. So here you're getting very close to the city center. Certainly, great access here. Now to our right, there's another great neighborhood down this street here. You hit Elizabeth. That's another very popular place that we get requests from to live in. So certainly I would check out the Elizabeth area if you really want to be close to the Uptown area. But as we come up here to Uptown, I would point out too, for those of you maybe tuning in from all over the country or maybe all over the globe, Charlotte has major sports teams here. We've got the Panthers, we've got the Hornets. We don't have hockey. We've got minor league baseball, but we do not have professional, big time baseball like the Red Sox or the Yankees. Not yet. I think eventually we will. But now that we're approaching into Uptown here, on the left-hand side, you're going to see the Charlotte Courthouse, and all the government center area here would be on your left and on your right. So these buildings here that we're passing is government center, if you will. And as we continue down here, you can we're getting closer and closer to, Uptown Charlotte. So you can see we're about 20-ish minutes into this tour. So just to give you an idea, to get from Waverly to Charlotte, this was around 7 o'clock, right? Down to Uptown Charlotte was about 20-minute drive. So in traffic, I would say probably double it, right? In high traffic. But if you leave on off hours, much like this tour, you're going to be able to get from the South Charlotte area of like Waverly, let's say, and go straight up Providence Road and probably be able to safely get there within 20 to 25 minutes. That's what I would gauge for your commuting time. That way, I don't think you would, I'd be overstepping saying that it's any less than that, because it really isn't. Now, you can see here, we're at the stop sign on our right, kind of right where that stoplight is. You can see that big build. It's kind of has some brick area on it. That's actually the arena where the Hornets play. So that's the Hornets arena over there to the right. And you got a lot of hotels, a lot of construction going on in Uptown as well. I mean, it's we're exploding here in Charlotte. There's not enough apartments and housing for people, and certainly you're going to see a lot of construction. But here is the Uptown area. Right to your right is what we call here the Epicenter. It's getting completely revamped right now for shopping, dining, etc. But you can see now we're in the heart of everything now. A lot of different banks are, you're going to find are headquartered here, of course. Bank of America, Wells Fargo's here. You've got Truist, and you've got a lot of consulting firms that are here, tax firms. It's a big financial hub, as I mentioned. But Uptown certainly is, it's a vibrant place like any city downtown, right? You're going to see, you've got a lot of dining, a lot of restaurants. You've got some entertainment, some bars, etc. But if you're, moving to Charlotte and you're going to be working in Uptown, I wanted to give you this tour so you can get an idea of what it looks like. I always tell people Uptown Charlotte is not crazy big compared to other major cities. It really isn't. You can certainly get across it fairly easily, unlike other major downtowns that would take you probably 45 minutes to an hour. That's certainly not the case here in Uptown Charlotte. It's much smaller, which is in a lot of ways is kind of nice. If you're viewing this from New York City or LA, you're probably like, man, this is a pea-sized city, This may be about just a block in New York City, right? But wanted to give you this kind of flavor of what it looks like up here, just in case you're considering, you know, looking at our area. Now to the right hand side here, that's the Blumenthal Theater and Arts. That's where they have a lot of different, of course, shows. That's a fairly new, or I believe they renovated that recently, which is great. You got the Mint Museum straight ahead, which is that cool architectural building, and then of course you've got the Duke building there. It really is a nice uptown. It has a nice feel to it. It's not overwhelmingly big, but we're coming towards the end of our tour here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, my name is Mitch. I'm a luxury real estate broker here in the city of Charlotte and serving the Lake Norman area. I would love to be a resource for you. If you enjoyed this, if it gave you any value, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more of these on different neighborhoods, different areas of Charlotte. So if you're tuning in from out of state, maybe across the globe, these are going to be, I hope, helpful resources for you. But without further ado, guys, I'm going to conclude our tour here. And again, I thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you next week.